Hey everyone, it's James with episode number 21 of Dream Better English, and today it's an economic article, so be ready for some facts and figures being numbers. Right, the article comes from CNN, and before we jump into the article or start the article, just remember, if you find it difficult to follow me, go on to YouTube, press CC and you will get the subtitles. And also at the end of this podcast, I'm going to give you guys an idiom, a phrasal verb, an expression, and some slang. So childcare takes a large part of the household salary. The household is the home. So the household salary is the money coming into the house. It represents barely 4% of the family income of South Korea or Greece. That means only 4% of the family income in South Korea or Greece is spent on childcare, sending your child to a creche or kindergarten. Now, when we look at the United Kingdom, it's a bit different. The story changes because the figure rises to 40%. That's a big jump. Now, these differences illustrate or show us each country's relationship to government, family, and even women. So, as we said, the British spend 40%, countries like Austria, Greece, Hungary, South Korea, 4%. What about the United States? Well, in the United States, couples spend on average 26% of their income on childcare. And if you're a single parent, which means you are alone with the children, you're going to spend 53%. Incredible. So early childhood services have an average cost that is higher than college or in the UK university. So these data show us a culture where in the United States, childcare has traditionally been seen as the responsibility of the family. And then we go to Northern Europe, and this logic changes because Northern Europe has been known for its kindness or generosity of their social policy. Let's take Denmark. Denmark, couples spend around 11% of their income on childcare costs. And if you're a single parent, this cost drops to 3%. So this is incredible. Now, in countries in Southern Europe, which are less wealthy, the state support is weaker and families are less well off. Less well off means they are not earning as much money. So here, grandparents are more present on a day-to-day basis or on a daily basis. So this would explain the low rate of spending. Also, siblings, brothers and sisters, are more involved, with a big difference between the girls helping more than the brothers. The sisters helping more than the brothers. It's quite interesting because I have lived in the UK and now I live in Southern Europe. I live in Spain. And it is true that the cost of childcare is incredibly expensive, and it really is seen as well in the UK as, well, if you choose to have children, that's your choice. We, the government, are not going to help you so much. And it really is also noticeable that the grandparents, I speak for the UK and Ireland, the grandparents are not as involved as here in Southern Europe, in Spain where I live, where it is true, and I see a lot of grandparents taking care of the children. Where I do disagree with the article is that I do know that here in Spain there is a lot of help from the government for women. A lot of the times now, I'll take my family, for example. My sister was forced, because of the price, as we can see, 40% in the United Kingdom, was forced to leave her job to take care of her daughter. Whereas if the situation were here in Spain, my sister, as let's say the person who generally would take care of the child is a woman, she would have had access to creches and kindergartens from literally the first months of birth, and also the right in her work to have a reduced hours, also known as part-time. So this is a very good initiative from the government here in Spain to allow women to continue with their normal working lives, and this is up to the age of 12, whereas in the UK and Ireland it is seen as your choice, you have the child, you need to organise that yourself. So I'll be interested to know what it's like in your country where you are. Are women forced to, and I say primarily women because normally it is the woman, but not always. Sometimes if a woman earns more than her partner, well then he will stay at home. So let me know, what's it like in your country? Are childcare costs very expensive, or are you helped by the government? Okay, let's move on to our vocabulary and our idiom first. Our idiom is your bread and butter. What does this mean, your bread and butter? Well, it means your main source of income. So let's take a bar, for example. The customers who go always to the bar every single day are known as the bread and butter customers. These are the customers who can be relied on to give their money to the bar all the time, and you can count on their money. They are the bread and butter customers. Our next piece of it's a phrasal verb, and the phrasal verb is to take up, and it means to fill up a space or some time. So let's say, for example, I have an apartment and it's a small apartment. I could say, I have a small apartment in the city centre, and honestly, my table, my kitchen or my dining table takes up most of the space in the main room. In another context, it's to take up some time. So I work in the city centre, and commuting or travelling to work, commuting takes up most of my time, or takes up a lot of my time. It takes me an hour to get to the city centre, and it takes me an hour to get home. So commuting or travelling takes up a lot of my time. Our next one is an expression, and this expression is really useful, especially in the British sense, when someone, you're at a meeting and someone says, I hear what you say. What does that mean, I hear what you say? It sounds like, yeah, okay, I hear what you say, I understand, I appreciate what you're saying. But in fact, what it really means is, I disagree and I don't want to discuss it any further. So listen out for that one if your boss is British and she says, I hear what you say. She probably doesn't want to hear any more of what you're saying. And finally, I'm going to give you a slang word. So if you don't want to hear any bad words, you can stop the podcast now. Okay, our slang word is bastard. And this is not a nice man, not a nice guy. So let me give you an example. You might say to your girlfriend or boyfriend, and you say, you shouldn't stay with that person. He's a real bastard to you. If you're giving your friend some advice, he treats you really badly. So there you go. There are our words and our article. I hope it was useful for you. We looked at some numbers, percentages, and remember, figure means number, especially in maths and economics. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So take care and all the best.